Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Social media will not fix any broken marketing. Right? See, as a consultant for coaches and other consultants and small to medium businesses, we get a lot of people coming to me saying, hey, maybe we can do a social media campaign, or maybe you can help us with a Facebook ad, or do they call them meta ads these days? And I always just look at what the people are doing and try and figure out if they've actually defined their target market and they've actually clarified their message, and do they think social media is the thing that's going to fix any broken marketing they might have. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Nothing you can tweet, TikTok, or even Facebook can actually fix or mend any marketing that is just spraying and praying without any results out there. You see, whenever a new social media platform or a new app comes into play, everybody jumps on it and they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be the it thing. It's going to be the thing that is going to now get me out of obscurity and start showing up to an audience that is of me and a few early adopters of that platform. You see, I see it all the time. I came in at a time when Facebook was sort of new. Now it's just filled up with people and grandmas that wanting to boost photos of their grandkids, and so it's just become too crowded and too noisy. But there's new platforms, like Clubhouse, or there's another one called Wisdom, where you can just go in and listen to other people, and it becomes a social media platform in and of its own like that, and people are jumping onto it and saying, yeah, this is the next best thing. And I can see a lot of people going, yes, come and tick and talk with me, or whatever it is. Let me tell you something. Nothing or no new social media platform is ever going to change or fix any broken marketing. All right. So whenever there's a new type of technology or media or any fad of any kind, everybody jumps onto that new bandwagon, and then the foolish think that because it's new, the seat on the new bandwagon must be a little bit better than where they were sitting before, and they think it's gonna maybe cost less and be easier to bring in more customers. And you wouldn't be any further away from the truth, because if you haven't identified who your target market is, and if you haven't clarified your message, any platform that you're going to go on to is just going to amplify that mediocrity, and you're going to be caught out real soon. All right. So instead of you really fixing your back end, really fixing your business, really fixing your sales, your customer service and all that stuff that you're running away from and thinking a new platform is going to fix it, let me tell you something. Nothing is going to, change it if you don't fix everything else that is not working in your business currently. All right. So it's usually normal to look for a new solution when you're not finding any traction, especially on Instagram or any of the older platforms, and you want to hope that something will fix the issues that keeps you up at night. And it is quite normal to hope and dream that the day you can go to sleep without waking up in the middle of the night is when a new platform comes in, and you're the only person in your industry that's on there that and you're getting whatever early adopters that come through to that platform, if you haven't identified your target market, no matter where you go, if you don't segment your audience or have a proper email marketing system behind the scenes, no matter where you're going to plug yourself into, the holes will soon show up. All right. So many do the same thing with either social media or whatever new platform that comes into play, and they think that once they're maybe on Twitter or have a Facebook page or a new Instagram, they get everything automated and their business problems are completely solved. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news to you folks, but it simply does not work like that. The reality is that social media will probably highlight these issues even further. All right. If you, maybe cold calling potential clients and having them hang up in your face, it's probably because people don't know who you are. They don't understand what it is that you're ringing them up for, because you haven't engaged them, you haven't educated them, you haven't inspired them, and haven't provided them with value. What makes you think that people are just going to jump onto whatever you're putting out there just because you're on a new platform? All right. So like I said, it shines a light on whatever broken marketing that you might have, instead of creating your own platform so that you can, reach out to people on different segments of their buyer's journey. All right. So that they get to know, like, and trust you. Jumping on to go and create yet another profile in yet another social media platform is not going to fix your broken marketing engine. All right. So people do that all the time, you know what I mean? And they think that if you jump onto a new platform, it's going to solve their problems overnight. But social media actually amplifies all of those. It may actually even shine a strobe light on the very broken areas of your business. It may put departments, people, even individuals under pressure. You know why? Because with social media, people now have access to your business 24/7. You might think that people are not watching, but they're looking at every different aspect. Why? Because you're going to be forced to talk about these things. If anything goes wrong with your business, anyone can show up on social media and start talking ill about the experience that they just had, right? And you're going to be forced to look at that. Now, what was the whole point in jumping and creating a profile when your marketing is broken behind the scenes, all right? Because now more than anything, we are now open for scrutiny at any given moment. So the communications cannot easily be hidden between an email string that you might have with your customers, or between your sales department or any strategic partners. Your partners will soon be tweeting and Facebooking about you, or Instagramming any screenshots of whatever you're sending out there. So you might find yourself sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as a hey, thanks for reaching out. Whereas people might actually be taking screenshots of that and posting them on LinkedIn without you even knowing. All right. So like I said, social media, no matter where it is or no matter what platform you're going to be on, it's not going to fix your broken marketing engine. It will not fix your sales department. It will not fix your consulting, your training, your information, or your expertise. And it would not generally automatically get you on any paid speaking gigs. All right. It is not something that you can throw in your back pocket just in case you need it on a bad Monday. All right. So you want to make sure that you're creating for and relating to the audience that you're reaching out to. You actually have a detailed and documented buyer's journey, so that you know what content you're going to be putting out there and how people are going to be interacting with your business. If you don't know how to create or leverage the forces of attraction to gain people's attention, go and listen to episode number 23 of the Online Prosperity Experience, where I'm talking about the top of the funnel, the bottom, middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel, in order for you to create content that actually helps people know, like, and trust your business, and you can nurture them so that they can become people that pay, stay, and refer. All right. A lot of people are wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads, just simply because people don't know who they are and they're just throwing ads. Just because you put an ad out there, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to triple stumble and fall and jump on and do whatever it is that you ask off of them. They need to have known who you are. They need to have, followed you for a while, and then pretty much figure out what it is that you do and how you can help them make sense of the world around them. All right. And that's where content marketing actually comes into play, where you are out there and making sure that, you are creating for and relating to the audience that you're going to be demanding money off of. So don't forget that content marketing is actually a powerful strategy that can help you attract and retain customers. A well-executed content marketing campaign can help you increase brand awareness and build strong reputation amongst your target audience, something that social media can only amplify. All right. When you're putting yourself out there on social media, what you're trying to do is amplify the content that you have created, because you already understand who your target audience is. You already understand who needs the products that you're putting out there, and you understand the problems and the pain that you are actually solving. So social media is not a band-aid. All right. It's not something that you can just use to fix whatever problems you might be going through in your business. If you find yourself without any content to put out there, then you might be like, oh, I haven't put out a social media post. It doesn't work like that. All right. And like I said, it's not something that can be used to, or just be bolted onto your business just because you're having a bad case of the Mondays. All right. The only way you're going to see any positive return of your investments by leveraging social media is if you actually get yourself organized. All right, you need to set really good objectives. You need to integrate your social media into the DNA of who you are and what it is that you're doing. All right, not just something you pick up and you drop off. If you look at some of my social media platforms, you can see the content corresponds with the kind of client that we want to work with. All right, and I also integrate my family into some of the social media posts that we put out there. Why? Because I understand and I know the people that are looking to grow their business, they're also looking after their family. So I want to create for and relate to that audience that I'm going to be dealing with a little bit later on. So you also need to make sure that it's not an afterthought. It is actually part of your DNA. It is actually part of what it is that you're doing. You need to integrate your social media into the DNA of who you are and what it is that you're doing. And you need to integrate social media into your customer service, your sales, your marketing, any of the processes that you're putting out there, because every bit of your business is marketing. All right. So, and it is open to public scrutiny, especially these days of 24/7 connectivity. All right. And you should understand that social media is not going away. All right. So don't be one of those that are either left behind to say, you know what, I'm going to be covering my tracks by not being present on social media. With, even if you are there or you're not there, there's what's called user generated content. People are still talking about your business. You might as well control the narrative. All right. So don't be left behind. Get on the bus, get on the train, get on that wagon, and whatever you want to call it, just do something to make sure that you're actually nurturing nurturing those leads that are coming through in order for them to then pay, stay, and refer. All right. I speak to a lot of coaches and consultants, and sometimes it can feel like no one wants to buy what it is that you're selling. And when you rely on your business to actually pay rent and put food on your table, it can put an enormous strain on your emotions, and you may be terrified or giving up in your dreams if you can't generate leads. All right. So you want to make sure that you are literally fixing your business in such a way that you then use social media to amplify the goodness of what it is that you're doing. All right. So you want to fix your business and then leverage social media as a reason to have the discussions that you should be having with your clients or with your suppliers, and have the guts to actually lead your team into a new dimension and market your business, so that you can create for and relate to the people that you're going to be demanding money off of. All right, so there's a few things that you can do to just make sure that you've got the right mechanisms behind you, and then use or leverage social media to amplify what you're already doing well. All right, and I want you to know something. You're not the only person that's getting all of this wrong. All the coaches and consultants that we deal with, they have the same problem. They haven't created any content behind for them to integrate or engage that audience that they are asking to come to them. All right, the one thing that you should be doing consistently is educating your audience on what to want and what to demand from you. If they don't know that you're offering consulting or any training or any information or any expertise, how are they going to engage your business? All right, so this is something that a lot of people don't quite put into play, and they just hope that having some sort of presence on social media is going to remedy a broken marketing experience for their audiences out there. And I can understand, as an entrepreneur, marketing is just one aspect of maybe running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff, and you're balancing the books, and you're driving growth, and a whole lot more of other things, and it feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And at the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients. As a coach, you just want to, spend as much time as possible, changing people's lives and solving people's problems. And you don't want to waste countless hours each week trying to navigate the whole complex world of online marketing. So you don't have to, all right? Because each and everything, like I said, if you integrate social media into the DNA of your business, guess what happens? It now becomes part of what you're doing, and it's not just something you have in your back pocket. In the event that you're having a bad day or a bad Monday, all right? So you want to spend time helping your clients and use that to leverage yourself, because you can't keep repeating everything that you're putting out there. All right, and another thing is, you should actually take ownership of what you're putting out there, and ownership of your role within the business that you're working in. If nobody steps up to take charge, then you're destined to fail. You want to make sure that all the social media platforms represent who you are, because these are 24/7 sales machines that you literally have to make sure that each and every time you are looking after them, you are actually putting content that is helpful out there, and it's actually educating your audience in order for them to want more and be more and work with you. Like I mentioned earlier on, a lot of coaches and consultants are expecting agencies or whatever freelancers or VAs that they hire to solve all these broken business problems. Let me tell you something. VAs, freelancers and agencies are only just there most of the time for their paycheck. So you definitely need to be very, very engaged with whatever is happening, because if they decide to leave or go away, you're the person that's left to look after all of that stuff. I was talking to one of my coaching clients the other day, and they were saying, I've got this group that I need to be engaging potential clients in, but I need to get a VA to do that. So at the end of the day, people are not going to be buying from your VA. People want to buy from you. They want to experience you as their provider. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you are involved. So do not expect your agency to solve your broken business problems unless they're specifically contracted to do as such. And that's why agencies become very expensive, because at the end of the day, they really want to fix something that is broken, but they also want to be paid for it, because it's not their business. All right. And one thing that I can actually advise right now is not to overly outsource all of your social media, because people are looking to buy from you. All right, people want to deal with you, especially the person that they know, like, and trust. How are they going to know you if you're outsourcing most of your sentiments and emotions to another person, because like I said, your VA or your social media person does not have your mannerisms, does not have your quirkiness, does not have your own authenticity. And if you outsource it, you are putting yet another layer between you and your customer, because half of the purchases that people make are from emotion. So if you're not connecting with your audience right there, like I don't outsource this podcast. Yes, I can outsource the distribution of it, because obviously I don't really need to be involved in me tweeting about a new episode, right? But the actual creation of the content is, you're listening to my voice right now. You're listening to Prosper, all right? I'm not outsourcing this to make other people do this part for me. All right, so look at how you are putting yourself out there, especially on social media. Which parts are you outsourcing? Are they the parts which actually help you connect with your audience, or the parts that are monotonous and can be done by somebody else who doesn't necessarily have to connect with your audience? All right, so by so doing, you want to develop a plan with your goals, your objectives, have clear roles and responsibilities, so that your work out there is consistent. Because some people might, if you notice, our podcast comes out on a daily basis, unless maybe there's a holiday in between, or I might just sit down on a Monday when I'm not that busy, and then I maybe record 3 or 4 episodes, which then can be distributed by my team. All right, so the role that I'm taking on is the content creator. I create the content to make sure that it's always available for redistribution when my team needs stuff, and we are consistent, and my audience never goes through periods when they don't hear from me. All right, so you want to develop goals and have clear roles. Who needs to be doing what? Your content team do you have an email marketer? Do you have a social media consultant? Do you have somebody who writes the content? Do you have somebody who distributes the content? Do you have an SEO person within your team? Do you have a digital marketer that puts it all together, and somebody who has the strategy to make sure that everything goes out there consistently? All of those things, you need to have clear roles and responsibilities. All right, and for you to be consistent, you have to make sure that you've got allocated budgets and resources, because some of the redistribution needs to make sure that somebody is doing it all the time, or you need to have tools that will consistently do it for you. Do you have an allocated budget for that, or do you have a resource that looks after those things? Just don't sign up for more than you or what your agency or your consultant can deliver. You really need to have specific outlines of what is expected of each and every one of us, because like I keep repeating, and what this podcast is about, is social media is not going to fix any broken marketing engines out there. You want to make sure that everything that you're putting out there is accounted for, and you actually know what it is that it's supposed to be doing for you. And once you've got your goals going, just determine your success metrics up front. How are you going to know you've arrived? How are you going to know that you're actually doing the right thing? So you want to measure and track what's working, you keep, and what's not working, you ditch. All right, and while you're there, don't be afraid to admit failure. All right, there's not going to be any perfect cookbook for social media out there, you know what I mean, because we're all learning it as we go. Right now, as we speak, Elon Musk is going to change the algorithm of Twitter just because he's just bored it. All right, and we have to relearn that social media platform, you know what I mean? So we all have good days and bad days, and social media is about people and connecting with people. So we can't predict with a scientific social media calculator what the exact return of investment would be for us showing up on social media every single day. All right, so you want to show up and be part of the conversation, not to speak at your audience but to speak with them. Okay, And while you're there, don't overanalyze or overcomplicate everything else. You know what I mean? Everybody is just looking for somebody to walk them home. All right. Make a decision to either do social media or don't. Because if you overcomplicate it and then you make it difficult for people to connect with you or for people to relate to what you're saying, there's no point in you being on social media if people are not actually responding to your messages out there. All right. And along with the last bit of overcomplicating thing, don't keep making your agencies sell you on the fact that you need to do social media. Right. Truth is, if they're worth the paper on the proposal that they're writing out there to you, and they want to push social media as the be it and end all, it's not good for you or them to just continue to banter or whether you should or you shouldn't do social media. Only you can make that decision. All right, maybe the type of work that you're putting out there doesn't necessarily mean that you have to constantly be on social media all the time, but you had to have some sort of a presence. Okay. And once you've identified your target market and you've clarified your message, it's super easy for you to just jump on whatever platform and find people that are already congregated, that are willing and able to listen to that message. All right. So just start where you are. All right. Don't be pushed into jumping onto any new platform just because it's new, before you haven't actually fixed your back end and actually created content that people would want to come back from the social media platforms to come and consume. All right. So just sitting on the sidelines and watching the happy social media train go by is going to be doing nothing for your business. Either get on the train or don't. All right. But you also have to make sure that you've got seats for people to sit on when they jump on your social media train. All right. And have fun while you're doing it. Don't let it be a negative change in your business. If you haven't been doing it and it's been working for you, well, don't try and just jump onto it just because everybody is jumping onto social media. You need to just leverage social media to have the conversations that you need to have. Leverage it in a positive way. All right. Use it to redefine your roles, your processes and strategies if necessary, but keep it light and keep it fun while focused on the business. Getting too serious over a tweet is just not a good way to start off a social media campaign. All right. And realize that not everyone is on that train. So many people are not even on social media anymore just simply because of what's been happening, during the pandemic. People just wanted to get a break. All right. So even if you've made the decision to move forward with adopting whatever new channel that might be coming up, chances are there are minimum of few people who are still not on board. So ensure that you communicate with your agency on this fact. Don't be afraid to have open communication with the people that are involved with your social media marketing. And if you've got a good agency that's helping you, they should be able to help you facilitate the buy-in with team members and actually grow your audience so that you've got people that you can be speaking to. All right. And speaking of, having a social media agency, investment in the right people and training is key. All right. Since social media is one big relationship, you must keep going for your business. You want to make sure you've got the right people, who've got the right intentions, and everybody understands what it is that they're supposed to be doing, and they're focusing on their roles, their objectives, and whatever engagement they're supposed to be bringing to the table. Because your return of investment of any of these activities will be exponential if you take the time to actually prepare your strategy instead of just jumping onto whatever bandwagon that might be showing up at any given moment. All right. So, like I keep repeating, do not use social media or any new technology as a duct tape to hide a problem even longer. Yes, you might be getting some sort of traction, but it will eventually catch up on you. So instead, you want to leverage it to your advantage. Be bold, be brave, and you'll start seeing the results that you have been told that other people are receiving there. So Your turn. What are your thoughts? Have you actually leveraged social media to have, some of those hard discussions that you need, especially to make changes within your business? Or are you avoiding social media because you're afraid of the skeletons in whatever closet you might have? Or if you're a consultant or an agency, are you also maybe seeing clients who expect social media to solve their business problems? Let me tell you something, guys. If you are not creating for and relating to your audience, whatever you're going to do, no matter what new platform is going to come into play there, it's not going to solve any of your business problems. Okay, social media is not going to fix your broken marketing engine. It will not fix your broken sales department. It will not provide business processes that you don't have. And it will not provide you with a glue that ties it all together. You just want to use it as a tool, not as what your actual business is. I can't wait to see you identifying your target market, clarifying your message, and actually showing up on social media so that you can create for and relate to the audience that you're going to be demanding money off of. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au